Good morning. Welcome to day 5, Friday morning. I've made it 5 days in a row of this Build-A-Stitch series. And yesterday I had done this first satin stitch at the end of the session. And I'm going to kind of build on this today. I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to play around more with satin stitches from these different shapes that I did as more open structures for shapes. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to maybe do this little triangle-y one, but down here as a different row so that it's kind of like almost a decorative stitch kind of a thing. So for this one, I'm going to get it so that the triangle part of it goes down, pointing downwards here. And I'm going to just kind of start with that same kind of a thing, but I want to taper it into a point there. So I'm going to work on getting each stitch a little bit shorter until I have it at a little point. A really tiny little stitch here at the very bottom. There we go. Just kind of a little point there. And then I'm going to start back up here and do another rectangle block going up the other way. And trying not to stab myself underneath there. Now tomorrow, since it's Saturday, I am going to keep going, but I'm going to be stitching at about 7:30 Mountain Time instead of 5:45. So I do want to keep this as a daily practice, not just a weekday practice. So I will be on just a little bit later. I'm trying to do about the same number of stitches as I did in this block. That way they're kind of the same length. I think I need about 2 more here. Okay, and now I'm going to go do another triangle. Let's see if I can get this next one a little closer together than that first one. First one was just a little bit more open, but you could certainly combine them too. And that's one of the things that I just want to kind of play with is, combining some of these. Will get more elaborate as time goes. I think, we can even use different things like beads, which I will do eventually. I haven't quite decided when to start doing beads yet. But there we go, that's a little bit closer together. A little shorter, slightly different than that one. I don't think I can get a 4th stitch in there because it would be really, really tiny. So I'm going to do just one more of these. And when I'm connecting these, I am trying to get this bottom one to come up in the same place that this long stitch here went. That way there's no gap between them. I'm just going to do this little block and then I'll finish with these and move on to another idea. And I'm almost out of thread, so it'll be a good time to switch stitches, switch some thread. Two more here. There we go. Just tie this off really quick. I'd love to see anyone else's work if they're following along here. I'm going to use a little bit thicker thread this time. This is a number 8 pearl cotton. For this one, I think I'm going to do just single stitches but varying lengths. And I'm going to use this as kind of a way to stitch down one of these edges. Since with this fusible I overlapped these so they're not necessarily the whole piece is fused down. I'm going to use these seed stitches to just anchor this down, and I'm going to vary the length of the stitch here. So you can always do satin stitches to cover raw edges, but you can also just do different things like this. You can do blanket stitches, which I will eventually do. But this kind of a thing you can vary length with, you can vary distance. I could put these closer together. But it's a quick way to anchor that edge. And not have to, take as much time as something like a satin stitch or a blanket stitch. And it just gives a little bit more texture to it. Or I guess maybe not more, but just a different texture to it than things like satin stitches or blanket stitches. As I go here, I'm going to shorten the distance up a little bit. We're just about out of time here. So you can see that you could even do this as a varied satin stitch and put them really close together. And I'm really trying not to do a pattern, although if you wanted to do a pattern, you could, and that could look really cool too. So it's just, again, another one of those, just kind of play with it and see what happens. goes together right there. So you can see, you can get a lot of different looks with that. It's definitely easier to get these stitches a little bit closer together with a thicker thread there. Just do one more, and I will be signing off for the day. So happy stitching, have a great rest of the day. If you like this, please like this and follow my page, and I will see you at 7:30 tomorrow morning. Bye.